There I am frozen again. Okay, now I'm not frozen. It freezes for the first 2 seconds, not sure why. Anyway, hi! Me again. I thought that I could comment, or would like to comment, rather, on the word mom. Mommy. Mother. All those terms of affection and endearment. The reason I want to talk about this is because I never thought about it until I became an adoptive parent, or a foster parent for that matter. What got me going on this is I was talking to a good friend who is taking care of 2 little ones, and their biological parents are still sort of in the mix, but not really, off and on. Anyway, the little girl was calling my friend Mommy. And I just asked her, how she felt about that, especially since the birth parents are kind of still in the picture, and if they were going to be offended and all that good stuff. And so that just opened up a discussion on that word, and mom and dad, and what that means. When our boys first came to us, there was no transition. There was no calling us Hannah and Caleb. Nothing like that. It was mom and dad from day one. And people always asked us that, like, do they call you mom and dad? And it was like, yeah, they do. I found out later, especially with our 12-year-old, that a lot of that had to do with his reactive attachment issues, and that he could very easily call anyone mom and dad. It wasn't a very meaningful word to him. Now, when he talked about his mom, who he was talking about was his birth mom. So that's a little different situation. Like, he had this big differentiation between calling me mom and then talking about his real mom, all this stuff. Okay, this kneeling on the bed thing is not working as well as I'd hoped, but that's okay. And then our older son, again, had no problem calling us mom and dad, but what I noticed, what annoyed me at first, was that he called a lot of people mom and dad, or he'd call them like mom or mommy, and then insert name. So like mommy Margaret or what, I don't know. And daddy whoever, daddy Jason or whatever. So it didn't really, the term was more of a title of this is someone who I can trust and who takes care of me. It wasn't really a term of affection. Now, when I think of the word mom, I think of my mom. I don't think of a caregiver person. Now, I call my mother-in-law mom, but that's because she's my husband's mom. So it just didn't feel right calling her by her first name. Same with my father-in-law. I call him dad, obviously, not mom. Anyway, so that word just has a different meaning for me because I had a loving mom. I have a loving mom. So that word means more to me as far as the word itself. Darn, drippy nose. Excuse me. Sorry. Then it's not just a title. It's not just like, okay, this person takes care of me, therefore they are titled mom. Now, when we started doing foster care for infants, we had to make a decision. First of all, Jeremiah was still with us at that point. And so we wanted to give him the distinction between these babies who are just temporary and him who was supposed to stay forever. So we wanted to give him that distinction so that he knew that we were committed to being his parents. And that these babies were going to come in and out, but it wasn't because we were giving up on them. It was because this is their transition. This was what was going on with them. So we decided to go with the Finnish words for mom and dad, which is äiti, which means mommy, and isä, which means daddy in Finnish. So we decided on those, and we really like using them. It gives us another word to use, because like professionals that we work with sometimes feel awkward because they like to call me mom or mommy when talking to the baby, like, oh, go to mommy or whatever. But that's not right. I'm not their mommy, at least not at this point. And that's still something that their birth moms have. So I gently correct them and say we use äiti and isä, and they're usually, once they figure out how to pronounce the words, they're usually pretty good about using that. So it gives them another, instead of calling us by our first names, which isn't appropriate either, I don't think, because we are in a role of authority and we are in a caregiver role, it gives them another word to use. So that's what we decided to do. And the word mommy is just such a special thing to me. I can't wait until I have a little one who's able to look at me and call me mommy and mean it, and we don't have to question whether that's appropriate or not, whether that's through adoption or through the miracle of birth or however that comes about. I want to be mommy. I want to be mommy. That's something that's really important to me. And the same for Caleb. He wants to be daddy. Now, of course, our 18-year-old still does call us mom and dad, and our almost 19-year-old, he'll be 19 next month. Anyway, he still does call us mom and dad, and so that relationship is there, but it's different when you have someone so much closer to your age calling you that. I see myself in his life as more of a role model. I am an authority, but I am more of a role model and someone who is trying to teach him the right way, and less of a maternal caregiver role, I guess. I'm not the nurturing, I'm not bouncing him on my knee and giving him cuddles and all that, give him lots of hugs, but he's not gonna, when he calls me mommy, it's a term of affection, but it's more of a choice of him recognizing that I have that authority in his life, which is really cool when that happens. Anyway, yeah. So we were talking, my friend and I were talking about what is appropriate for these little ones. And what she said is that she allows them to make the choice. And if they want to call them mom and dad, that's their choice. They're not going to correct them and say, no, we're not your real mom and dad. Your mom might get mad if you call us that. They're not going to correct them like that. It's the child's choice. And for an older child, I definitely agree with that. We had a situation with one of our foster daughters where the mom got upset with her older sister, who was only like 2.5, and who got upset with her for calling her foster mom mommy. And she said, that's not your mommy, I'm your mommy. Don't call her mommy. How can a 2.5-year-old understand that? How can a 2.5-year-old understand, oh, this is the person that I spend 99% of my life with, that cares for me, that loves me, that keeps me safe, but I'm supposed to call you mommy? Not her? That's not fair to the kid. And if that child were to go back to their birth parent, then obviously that transition would change. Then the caregiver would be the parent, so then that title hopefully would transfer with it. I gotta sneeze, I think. Anyway, yeah, so just some things to think about. And also think about this. When that day in April comes, when this M word gets thrown out so much. Think about the significance of that word and what it means. If you are blessed to be a mom and you're blessed to be called mommy, I'm not crying, by the way, my eyes are watering. If you're blessed to be called mommy, cherish that word. If you know someone who's been trying to be mommy, be sensitive to that. Know that day and around, all those commercials and everything, Happy Mother's Day. Oh, I said the word. That you're sensitive to them, that's a very difficult time, especially if they're parenting traumatized children who the very concept of mother is a traumatic thing for them. That very concept of a mom can send them into a rage because of all that pain that comes from not having that secure attachment. So just some thoughts to put out there. Yeah, give your mom a hug, give her a phone call, let her know that you love her and that you are blessed to be able to call her mom. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.